Hermes, gods below the earth, protector of my father's power, become my savior. Fight beside me as I ask you now. For I have come back to this land. I'm home once more. And here, upon his burial mound, I call out to my father. Hear me. Listen. This is a lock of hair which I dedicate to the river Aeschylus, in thanks for my nurture. And this, a second lock, a token of my grief. For I was not here, Father, to lament your death, nor could I raise my hands in tribute when they carried out your corpse. What do I see? Who are those women all together, clothed in black and coming here? What misfortune could this be? Has some new torment fallen on our house? Or would I be right if I guessed that they have brought libations for my father, offerings to soothe the dead? Well, it's that and nothing else. I'm sure that one of them is my sister, Electra, marked out by her special grief. Zeus, grant that I avenge my father's death. Become my ally of your own free will. Pillars, let us stand out of the way so I may clearly learn just why this group of women has come here.
Sadness, hateful mists of darkness, not or tamed. It found its place in every Argive heart.
And now it's gone. We are all afraid. Success for everyone that is a god, more than a god.
But justice holds her scales, and suddenly strikes down on those in the light, while other criminals live on. Yet in the twilight of their life, they suffer pain.
Unfathomable night holds more.
Our mothers soaked up too much for love. The form of vengeance clots and cannot be removed.
A painful ruin keeps the murderer alive until diseases bloom.
There is no going back for anyone that takes a girl's virginity.
But just the same, if every river in the world ran through a single stream, even then would never purify the man whose hands the blood of murder has defiled. The gods impose their yoke upon my city. I was led out from my father's house to suffer, fated evermore to be a slave.
We must approve of everything they do, just and unjust. We are compelled to overcome our bitter hatred.
So I wait beneath my cloak for the misfortune of the rising kings. My hidden grief has chilled my heart.
Slave women, keepers of the house, since you are here as my attendants for the ceremony, please advise me now. What should I say as I pour out these libations? How can I please him? What should I ask of my father? Am I to tell him that I bring these offerings from my loving wife to her beloved husband when the gift is from my mother? Oh, I dare not lie like that. I don't know what to say as I present this offering at my father's grave. Should I use the old form of words that starts, "To those who sent these garlands, grant their just rewards"? In this case, I will need a payment worthy of their evil deeds. Or should I just pour out this stream of liquid for the earth to drink in silence, just as deep as when my father died? Pay him no honor, and creep off like one disposing of the residue from sacrifice and throw away the pot when I averted. Friends, help me in this quandary, for we all share a common hatred in our home. Don't hide your thoughts in your heart through fear, for if something's fated, no one can avoid it, whether you be free as you was born or someone else's slave. Please tell me, have you thought of anything?
I reverence your father's tomb as if it were a sacred altar. Here as you ask, I'll tell you what I really feel.
Oh, please tell me that you reverence my father's grave.
You must say the words which show you care for all your friends.
Who in this household can I call my friends?
First, yourself, and all who hate Aeschylus.
So there should be a prayer for you and me.
You realized what you should do. Go on.
Should I ask anybody else?
Well, do not forget Orestes, even though he is no longer in this house.
That is good. You are right to remind me.
Now, when you get to Agamemnon's murderers...
Or what should I say? Teach me. Lead me. I must know.
Pray that some god or mortal man may come.
To judge them, or to be the instrument of justice?
Simply say to kill them in their turn.
Would the gods see this as a pious prayer?
How could they not? It is right to pay your enemies for what they've done to you.
Hermes, great herald of the gods above us and below, help me. Lord of the earth, I beg you, be my messenger, and take my prayers to the gods beneath the earth, the guardians of my father's house, and earth herself, she who gives birth to every living thing and nurtures it, and takes their offspring back again. Now, As I pour out this libation to the dead, I say this, calling on my Father. Pity me, and your dear son Orestes. Bring the light back to this house, for as it is we wander, just as if we had been sold, and in exchange for us, our mother took a man, Aeschylus, who was with her when she murdered you. I live like a slave. Orestes is in exile and bereft of all his property, while they rejoice exultantly at all your sufferings. Father, I pray that by some turn of fate, Orestes may come here. I charge you, hear me. For myself, make me a better woman than my mother, self-controlled and reverent in everything I do. These are my prayers for us, but for our enemies, I say that you must be avenged. The murderers must die in just reprisal for their deeds. This I place among my prayers for good. I have pronounced a curse on them alone. For us, send up your blessings with the aid of all the gods and Mother Earth. May justice bring us victory. These are my prayers. To follow them, I will pour out these libations. Custom demands that to help their power to bloom, you must cry out in lamentation. Sing a song of victory for the dead.
Let out a tear, it drops, it dies, just like the king is shed for as he falls upon this man, defender of good and enemy of evil. When these offerings are poured, may all pollution be removed. Hear me, great majesty! Hear me, great king! Although your senses are now dimmed. A man must come and liberate this house.
A strong man with a spear. A war god brandishing his bow in combat.
Ready for the work. We're fighting hand with hand and sword with sword.
My father has his offerings. They've soaked into the earth. Oh, but now, share something new with me. What is it? My heart bursts with fear. I see along the pier that someone's cut and laid upon the grave.
Who could it be?
Easy. Anyone could guess.
You must teach me. Even though I am older and you are young.
No one else but me could have cut off this lock.
Yes, those who should be mourning and are all enemies.
Still, it's here. And if you look, it's very like.
What kind of hair? That's what I want to know.
It has a close resemblance to my own.
Could it be a secret gift from Orestes?
It does look very like his hair.
But how would he dare to come here?
Oh, he hasn't. He simply sent a cut-off locking homage to his father.
We have then no less cause to weep. If this means you'll never
father. We call upon the gods, who know that great waves often toss us around like men at sea. But when we're fated to survive, a small seed often grows into a great tree root. Here is a second sign. Some footprints, look! They match each other, and are similar in shape to mine. And as I measure them, the heels, the contours of the tendons, all are in proportion to the shapes I have made. Oh, this is anguish, and my senses are destroyed.
Tell the gods your prayers have been fulfilled. Now you can pray your future will be prosperous as well.
What is it that I've now been given by the gods?
You see at last the sight you've long desired.
Whom do you think I've prayed for?
I know that you have often missed Orestes.
But how have I an answer to my prayer?
I am he. Do not seek any closer relative than me.
Stranger, is this some trap that you're casting round me?
If I did that, I would be weaving snares to catch myself.
You just want to mock me in my misery.
I would be mocking my own misery if I mocked yours.
So I must really call you by his name.
You're so slow to realize. Now you see me in the flesh. But when you saw this offering of hair, and when you followed in my footsteps like a hunter, your heart flew like a bird, as if Orestes was before your eyes. Look, place that lock of hair where it was cut. It is your brother's hair, and much resembles yours. Well, now see this piece of weaving done by your own hands. Hear the strokes of your own needle. This is your design. Wild animals. Oh, no, do not go mad with joy. For I am well aware our so-called family are bitter enemies to us.
My dearest, darling of your father's house, the Lord help! Seed of salvation, trust in your strength. You will regain your father's house. I of delight. You now have 4 parts to play for me. I must now turn to you in place of my dead father. All my mother-love is turned to you because I hate her utterly. And my sister-love, for her who was so mercilessly slaughtered. All is now yours. You are my faithful brother, bringing glory back into my life. May strength be with us now, and justice with the third, the greatest god of all, Lord Zeus.
Zeus! Zeus! Look down and witness this. You see the orphaned offspring of the eagle who has died. A fearful serpent's trapped him in its coils. They are bereft of father love and suffer pangs of hunger. They aren't strong enough to hunt food like their father, bring it to the nest. That's how we are. Here you can see Orestes and Electra, children who no longer have a father, both of us in exile from our home.
And yet our father sacrificed and paid great services to you. If you let his young children be destroyed, where will you find such rich and splendid gifts from other hands?
If you were to destroy the eagle's brood, you could not send back any sign of hope to mortal men.
And if this tree of kingship should shrivel up and die, we will not be your ministers upon the festive days of sacrifice.
So keep it safe. From such a little start, you can raise up once more a great house, which men now believe has fallen utterly.
Dear children, saviors of your father's house, do not say more. Let no one overhear, and just because he wants to speak, tell all you've said to those who now command us. How I want to see them dying, plunged in oozing, boiling pitch.
Apollo's great and mighty oracle will not forsake me. He ordered me to pass through all these dangers, shrieking out his prophecies. He told of vile and frosty torments that would chill my heart if I did not pursue those who contrived my father's death in just the same way, meaning I must kill them in return. He said that I would pay with my dear life, but first would suffer ghastly tortures. I would lose my heritage, and this would drive me mad and violent as a bull. There are, he told me, things men can do which will placate the anger of the dead. But there are also terrible diseases, creatures which invade the flesh with vicious teeth, cankers which eat at healthy skin, and leprosy whose ulcers blossom with white hair. And then Apollo spoke of other enemies. It would not matter whether I was still alive or in the underworld. The Furies would pursue me, springing from my father's blood. The long, dark arrows of the gods below are sent by suppliants, fathers and grandfathers, who died an unjust death and cry for vengeance. Oh, madness. Empty terrors in the night attack, harass, and drive the coward son out of his city, beaten with a lash of bronze. A man like that is not allowed to share the common bowl of wine, nor may he drink the pure, fresh water which men use to make libations to the gods. His father's anger comes unseen to drive him back from altars. He cannot be welcomed in to take his rest under another's roof. He'll die at last, unloved, uncared for. He will shrivel up and end his life in fearful pain. Should I not trust such oracles as these? And even if I don't, this still remains a deed that must be done. Here many different needs fall into one. The gods' command, my father's suffering, and also I am weighed down by my need for my inheritance. It is not right that citizens of Argos, noble-hearted men who gained eternal glory from the sack of Troy, should be the subjects of this pair of women. But his heart's a woman's. If it isn't, we'll soon see.
You mighty powers of destiny, may Zeus grant us the outcome we desire as justice turns this way. They speak in words of hatred. Let our words of hatred answer them. Justice cries out loud as she exacts her debt. For bloody blows, let bloody blows take vengeance. He who does must suffer. That is the wisdom of the ages.
Oh, my father, my terrible dead father. What can I say or do to bring you from the far place where you lie? The light is very different from the dark, but still perhaps a noble act of lamentation may bring some joy to you, great son of Atreus.
Dear son, the ravening jaws of flame cannot subdue a dead man's powers of thought. He shows his anger even after death. We sing his dirge, he comes for his revenge. If we can raise up loud and strong the due lament for a dead father, it will hunt down his enemies.
Now, Father, hear in turn the sorrows that have made me weep. Here are your children standing at your grave to chant the song of lamentation. His murderers should meet their share of death in just the way he did. A kind of death so terrible that far and wide men who know nothing of our suffering would hear about it.
May it only be my friend to sing the blazing song of victory when he is speared and she has been destroyed. Why should I hide the thought which always flutters in my heart? Anger blows right through us, long felt, bitter hatred.
What fool's use in his abundant power? Bring down his hands upon them, smash their heads, fulfill your pledges to this land. I ask for justice to reverse injustice. Hear me up, and hear me powers below.
When drops of murdered blood fall to the earth, they call for yet more blood. That is the law. Havoc brings out the fury from the bodies of the dead to pile disaster on a disaster.
Hear me, lords of the underworld. See us, mighty curses of the dead. See the last survivors of the house of Atreus, helpless, cast out from our halls. Oh, you can we turn?
My heart is shaken as I hear this bitter lament. Sometimes my hope is dim, and I go black inside, listening to their words. But when I see you strong again, hope easily drives out my anguish. All will turn out well.
What should we say to get through to him? Just tell him of the anguish we have suffered. She can fawn on us if she wants. It will not soften us. We are savage, just like wolves. We have our mother's spirit. It cannot be tamed.
I beat my breast and sang the dirge of Asiatic wailing woman. You could see my hands. They struck, they clutched, they pressed, stretched out from high above, until my head resounded with the blow.
Oh, my cruel, oh, daring mother! How did you dare take him out and bury him? There was such a enough for the king. No one was there to sorrow for him, or cry lament for him. A cruel funeral!
All that you've said humiliated him. Shall she not pay for my father's shame? The gods will help. My hands will help. When I have killed her, I can die.
Know this. He was mutilated. She did it when she buried him to make his fate unbearable for you. Now you have heard the outrages they did your father.
You tell of how my father died. I stood apart, humiliated, worthless, shut off in my bedroom like some savage dog. I needed to conceal my grief. I could not laugh. Instead, I swamped it in a flood of tears. Father, hear this, and carve it on your heart.
Yes, carve it. Let this story pierce your ear and come with gentle step to soothe your heart. We've told you how things are. Now burn to know how they will be. If you would win, you must not lose your strength.
Father, I beg you, help your children.
Through my tears, I ask this too.
We all echo them. Listen, come into the light. Help us against your enemies.
War gods will clash with war gods, right with right.
Oh God, fulfill our rights, bring justice.
I shiver as I hear them pray. The hour of destiny has waited long. It will come. Now they plead for it.
Oh, suffering innate within the race, and bloody, hideous, discordant stroke of utter ruin, moaning weight of grief, unbearable disease.
This house must find a dressing for its wounds, and not from others from outside, but only from itself, through the hideous, bloodiest strategy. This hymn is for the gods below the earth.
But hear us, blessed powers of the underworld. Answer this prayer by sending help. Be eager for the children's victory. Let them prevail.
Father, you did not die a kingly death. Give me the power I ask for in your house.
Father, I have this need of you. Let me contrive Aeschylus' death and find a man.
If you do this, you will receive the banquets due to you from us. But if you don't, when other dead feast joyfully on rich burnt offerings, you won't receive your share.
And I will bring you offerings when I inherit all that is my due. Libations on my wedding day from our ancestral store. This is the tomb I will honor more than any other one.
Oh, earth, release my father. Let him watch me fight.
Oh, God of the underworld, light of the beauty of victory.
Think of the bath in which she murdered you.
He came in a net to trap you.
They hunted you with fetters that no blacksmith made.
The bloody trap you in a cloak of shame.
Are you not moved by these reproaches?
Won't you leave up your head, my dearest father?
Send justice up to be an ally for your children. Or else help us to bind them fast, the same as they did you. They beat you. Don't you want to throw them down in turn?
You're one last cry from me. Put your offerings in nestle on his grave. Hideous oath, man and woman joined together by a grief.
Do not destroy us, offspring of the house of Aeschylus. For we live, you live.
Children, bizarre years mine past his death. Shut up the corpse that will never float, and stop the ashes from sinking out of reach.
So hear us. All of this remains as pain for you, and you'll be saved forever if you honor what we've said.
No one could blame you for these many words. You've given honor to a grave and to a fate no one has ever mourned. But now, since you're resolved, you may proceed. Test if the god is still with you.
I shall, but it will not deflect me from my course to ask why she sent these libations. What persuaded her to try too late to make up for irreparable suffering? This was a paltry act of honor for a king who's dead and hates her. I can't understand. Her gifts are so much smaller than her crime. You could pour all that you have in recompense for bloodshed, and your labor would be wasted. So I think. But please, tell me why she did it, if you know.
I know. I was there. She was terrified by dreams and roving horrors which attacked her in the night.
That's why the godless woman sent these offerings.
Do you know her dream enough to tell it right?
She told us herself. She dreamt she gave birth to a snake.
Go on, what was the end of the story?
It nestled in its swaddling clothes, just like a human child.
This newborn viper, did it want to eat?
She dreamt that she herself gave it her teat to suck.
But how could a deadly thing like that not wound her breast?
It did! A clot of blood poured out into the milk.
This is no empty vision.
Screaming in terror, she woke up. Braziers were blazing up around the house to soothe our mistress, but the darkness blinded them. Then she sent us here with offerings, hoping to find a cure to cut through her torments.
But I pray now to earth and to my father's grave that this dream may be fulfilled for me. For if this snake emerged from that same place as I, and then was wrapped in swaddling clothes, and put its fangs around the breast that nurtured me, and made a clot of blood mixed with the milk of life, so that she cried aloud in fright and pain, then she, because she nurtured such a terrifying portent, must die by violence. I become the snake and kill her. That's what this dream says.
I choose you as my dream interpreter. May you be right. Now, you must tell your friends what to do. For some this means what not to do.
My plan is simple. Electra is to go inside the house. I charge you to keep secret all our plans, so they, who killed a noble man by treachery, shall die by treachery in turn, and die in that same net. For so has Loxias ordained, the Lord Apollo, prophet who has never lied. I shall disguise myself in travelling clothes, and go with this man, Pallades, right to the outer gates, pretend to be a friend and ally of the house. We'll both assume a dialect, Parnassian, and talk the way they do in Focus. It's possible the doorkeepers won't welcome us with open hearts, because the gods have filled the house with evil fortune. But then we'll stay, so anyone who walks along beside the palace will be quite amazed, and say, why does Aegisthus not receive the suppliant at once, if he is somewhere in the city and has been informed? But, should I cross the threshold of the outer gates, and find him sitting on my father's throne, or if he comes back home to speak to me, you may be sure he'll meet me man to man. Before he says, where is the stranger from, he'll be a corpse, impaled upon my sword, so fast you'll hardly see. And so the fury of our house, who is not starved of debts, will drain the third and final cup of undiluted blood. Electra, you must supervise with care inside the house, so that this plan of ours may hold together, while you must watch your words almost religiously. Be silent when needs be. Speak only what will help our cause. All else, I call on Agamemnon here to oversee. Guide me. Let my sword win the contest!
She lit a bloody torch the day he came out, crying from his mother's womb. It followed him throughout his life. When it blew out, he died.
There is another one to hate in the old tales, a blood-stained girl. She killed her father for her city's enemies, bribed by a necklace wrought of gold, the gift of Minos, king of Crete.
Her father Nisos did not know. The bitch cut off the lock of hair that gave him everlasting life as he lay unsuspecting in his sleep. Death has him now. Of all the crimes in legend, the Lemnian is the worst. Most hated, most feared. The name of Lemnos is a proverb, the ultimate in horror.
Polluted, hated by the gods. Their race is cast out by mankind. No one helps those the gods reject.
Have I not right to tell these stories?
Since I've remembered cruelties which cannot be assuaged, should I not speak about the bitter marriage here that's hateful to this house? The evil plans which took shape in a woman's heart against a warrior, a man of honor, whom his enemies had all too much good cause to hate.
May the hearth not be warmed by civil strife. May woman's strength not turn to outrage.
Sword strikes near,
Sword strikes near, a shot that goes straight through right side.
Trample justice to the ground, then what with everything they do, and hold against the majesty of youth.
The apple of justice is planted in the ground. Destiny's the blacksmith. She forges the sword.
The Furies planned long and well and brought back to the house a child to make return for all the bloodstains of the past.
Aeschylus allows this house to welcome travellers.
All right, I can hear ya. Who's the stranger? Where's he from?
Announce me to the masters of the household. Say I've come to see them, and I bring some news. Be quick though, since the night's dark chariot is speeding on, and it's the time when travellers need to find a friendly house where they can drop anchor and feel safe. Someone should come who has authority, the woman who is mistress, Or better still, perhaps, a man? For reticence in conversation makes one's words obscure. A man can speak with confidence before another man, and will convey quite clearly what he means.
Strangers, you can tell me what you mean. For here we have all that you would expect in such a house as this. Warm baths, soft beds to charm away your aches and pains, and people round you who will do no harm. But if you wish to transact business of importance, then that is the work of men, and I must share it with them.
I am a Dowlian. I've come from Focus. This is all the luggage that I own. And I was on my way to this place, Argos, which I've reached at last. I met a man I did not know, and he did not know me. But when he'd asked my destination and had told me his, I learned his name, Strophios the Phakean. Here is what he said. My friend, since you are bound for Argos anyway, whatever else you do, remember this. Tell his parents that Orestes is dead. Please don't forget. I don't know if his relatives will want to bring him home, or if they would prefer to have him buried here, an alien, as our guest for all eternity. We mourned him well, and now his ashes wait, surrounded by the bronze sides of an urn. Bring their instructions back to me. I've said all that I heard. But I don't know if you're the people I should really say this to. I think his father should be told.
How utterly we are besieged! How cast upon this house! So hard to wrestle with. So many things to attract your eye, even those we try to place out of your way. You bring us down with deadly arrow shots. You strip me of my relatives, and I have nothing left. Orestes now, he was no fool. He kept his feet far distant from this deadly sword. But now the hope is gone, which was the cure for these foul furies' orgy in this house. Mark it down that it's betrayed us.
When a host is prosperous like you, I would have liked to introduce myself by giving joyful news and earn your hospitality. A friendly guest likes nothing more than to deserve his entertainment. But I felt it would be almost impious if I had not informed Orestes' relatives when I had pledged to do so and was welcomed here.
You shall not be received less worthily than you deserve, nor are you any less this house's friend. This news would have come anyway. It is all the same. But now is the time when those who have spent all day upon the road should be supplied with what they need. Take him to the apartment for male visitors, together with his fellow traveller here, and let them receive whatever we can give. I tell you, do this well. You are responsible to me. I shall report this news to those in power. We do not lack for friends. We shall take their advice about this new disaster.
Dear friends, servants of the house, when will our lips have the power to help Orestes' cause?
O sacred earth, sacred
not want. That woman, our mistress, has ordered me to fetch Aeschylus as fast as possible to see the strangers, so she can learn the news more quickly, man from man. In front of us, her eyes were sad and full of tears, but it was all a sham, to hide her joy at news which is so good for her, but utterly disastrous for this house, if what the stranger said so clearly is not false. Aeschylus will be overjoyed the moment he is told, but as for me, all the old troubles mixed together in this, the house of Atreus, oh, is so hard to bear. My heart is nearly broken. Never have I suffered a grief like this. I drained the others dry without complaint, but oh, dear Orestes, I wore myself out for him. His mother gave him to me, and I brought him up. He used to cry out in the night and get me out of bed, and I worked so hard for him. Now gone for nothing. Babies are just like animals. They never think, and you've got to bring them up the way you want. When he's still in swaddling clothes, a baby doesn't tell you if he's in need of food or drink or making water. Boys' young bladders have a will of their own. I had to guess when that was, and I know I often got it wrong, which meant I had to wash his clothes, as I was nurse and laundry woman too. I was good at both these jobs. That's why Orestes' father gave me him to mind. Now, I am sad. I have been told that he is dead, and I must go and see a man who has defiled this house and will be glad to hear this news.
How did she say he should acquit himself?
What do you mean? Say that again so I might understand.
Is he to bring his bodyguard or come alone?
She said he was to bring armed men to attend him.
Don't tell our hated master that. Tell him to come as soon as he can and say it cheerfully so he will listen without taking fright. The messenger can make a bent word straight.
Are you pleased with what I've told you?
Just suppose that Zeus might free us from our misery.
Oh, but how? Our only hope, Orestes, is dead.
Not yet. It would be a poor prophet who said that.
What do you mean? Do you know something different?
Take your message. Do as you've been told. This is the gods' concern, and they will handle it.
Well, I will go, and I will do as you have asked. May the gods grant it turn out for the best.
Now I ask you, Zeus, Father of the gods, grant success to those who strive for it, the rightful owners of this house. All I have said is just. Zeus, fulfill my words.
Now he is in the house. Let him confront his enemies. He will repay you willingly, twice over, 3 times over, when he is raised to greatness. Great God Apollo, Lord of a vast and sacred place, grant that Orestes' house may raise its head, and let the light of freedom shine clear for his eyes to see, released from the veils of dark. Then we shall sing it loud, loud and clear, the noble song of a house set free. For this city, all is well. That will be our glory, ours alone. Disaster will be far from those we love.
But you, when the moment comes, take courage. If she cries, child, shout back.
Truly, I am my father's child.
Go through with it. You may kill her and never suffer blame.
Remember that your deed is the desire both of your loved ones now below the earth and of the gods above. Be brave as Perseus. Give bloody murder to that Gorgon in the house. And when you see the man who is the cause of all our grief, destroy him.
I come not of my own accord, but summoned by a messenger. I understand that certain strangers have arrived and bring some news which gives me no delight. Orestes' death. This would be a blood-stained burden for the house to bear, already wounded as it is, poisoned by bitter murders long ago. How can I know it is a living truth? Are these, perhaps, just fearful women's words which leap high in the air then die in vain? What can you tell me of this to clear my mind?
We've heard.
But you must go inside and find out from the strangers.
It would be no good to hear from a woman. Far better yourself from man to man.
I want to see this messenger and question him carefully, to learn if he was there and saw Orestes die, or just reports a rumor he has heard. My mind has eyes. It cannot be deceived.
Zeus! Zeus! What can I say? How shall I call on you? I wish him well, but how can my words be enough to bring him help?
And now, bloody chopping knives will kill, and either utterly destroy the house of Agamemnon for eternity, or else the sun will kindle fire and light for freedom, rule his city, inherit all the riches of his ancestors. Such is the contest our godlike Orestes joins, 1 against 2, his father's only champion. May victory be his.
What is it? What's happened? What's the fate of the house?
The end is near. Let us stand back, so we may seem not to have played a part in causing these evil things. The battle's finished now.
Cry out in sorrow for our stricken lord. Cry sorrow yet again. A justice is no more. But open up as fast as you can. Undo the bolts on the women's doors. Oh, this needs a stronger man. But not to help a justice. He's dead. Oh, what can I do? Hey! I am shouting to the deaf and babbling whilst they waste time asleep. Where is Clytemnestra? What is she doing? Her neck is right upon the chopping block with justice poised to strike.
What is it? Why this cry for help to the house?
I tell you, the living die, killed by the dead.
Oh God, I understand the riddle. Now we die by treachery just as we killed. Let's see if we are finished or still have a chance. This terrible affair has gone that far.
It's you I'm looking for. He's had enough.
Oh God! You're dead! My darling, strong and justice!
You love the man? Then you shall lie together in the grave. He is dead, and you will never be unfaithful to him.
Stop! My son. Show all my child. Before this breast, at which you often drowsily sucked with your lips the milk that gave you life.
Pylades, what shall I do? Should I not fear to kill my mother?
Would you destroy the standing of Apollo's oracles for all the rest of time, and of his solemn oath? Count all men hateful to you rather than the gods.
I judge that you are right, and your advice is good. Follow me. I mean to kill you at a Gistos side. In life you thought him greater than my father. Now sleep with him in death. You chose this man, and hated him you ought to love.
Oh, I brought you up. Let me grow old with you.
You killed my father, and you want to share my house.
Fate had a certain share in that, my son.
Well then, it's fate that brings death to you now.
Do you not fear the furies of a mother?
No. You gave me birth, but threw me out to suffer pain.
Not so. I sent you out to live with friends.
I was a free man's son, sold like a slave.
Then where's the price I got for you?
I am ashamed to name it clearly. You would be disgraced.
Your father strayed as well. Why don't you mention that?
Don't blame the man. He labored while you sat at home.
It hurts a woman not to have a man, my child.
A man's hard work supports the women who remain at home.
I see, my son. You mean to kill your mother?
It's you who kill yourself, not I.
Watch out! Beware your mother's angry-handed furies!
But how shall I escape my father's furies if I do not do this deed?
Seems as if I'm weeping uselessly while still alive before my tomb.
Yes. Now my father's fate wafts death towards you.
Oh God! Here is the snake I bore and nurtured at my breast! How true a prophet was that fearful dream?
You killed, and it was wrong. Now suffer wrong.
I even mourn for these two and their fate. But now that Orestes sets the coping stone upon the many streams of blood, we want just this. May he not fall and be destroyed.
Justice came.
The Trojans suffered heavy punishment.
Orestes came.
To the house of Agamemnon, like a lion or a god of war. His exile, guided by the god of Delphi and protected by the wisdom of the gods, has won.
Cry out in joy. Our master's house is freed from all its suffering and from the wasting of its riches by those murderers. A lamentable fate. He came. His duty was a secret war and stealthy punishment. And the daughter of Zeus, the faithful one, guided him in battle. We call her justice when we name her right, breathing destructive anger on her enemies. Great Apollo, Luxius, the ruler of the navel of the earth, he gave her victory with guile, but is no guile.
Justice was wounded here. In time
The light is here to see, and the vast yoke is lifted from these halls. O house, rise up, for too much time you have lain tumbled on the ground.
And now, great time, the villa of all things will pass between our entrance halls. When we have removed the stain, driven it out and purified it, then our fortunes turned, and it will be fair of fate to welcome back our rightful master into this house.
Look, here are the tyrants of our land. They killed my father, and they sacked this house. Then they seemed very grand, both seated on their thrones, and I would guess that they are lovers even now. They've died together, faithful to their vows, for they once took an oath to kill my wretched father and die together. That's turned out all right. They've kept their pledge. Now, as you listen to these evil things, just look at this. The horrible device with which they bound my wretched father, shackled him both hand and foot.
Ah, miserable deed! It is a hateful death you have given them!
Pain blossoms for the living too.
Did she do it or not? This robe bears witness for me how she stained Aeschylus' sword with gore. The spurt of blood conspires with time, and they've defeated every dye put on the finely woven cloth. Now I can mourn him. Now I am here to praise him properly, as I speak here before this web in which my father died. I grieve for what I've done, this suffering and all our family. My victory is tainted, but no one would envy me.
No mortal ever lives his life free both from honor and harm. There has been pain already, more will come.
You must know now I do not know how this will end. I'm like a charioteer who's forced to drive outside the course. I'm beaten and cannot control my senses. Terror comes prepared to sing its song of hate beside my heart and join the dance. While I still have my sanity, I want to tell my friends I killed my mother not without some justice. She was polluted by my father's death and hated by the gods. And for the drug which gave me courage for this deed, I name in chief Apollo, seer of Delphi. For he prophesied that if I did this, I would be beyond the charge of wickedness. But if I let it go, I will not speak the penalty. For no one's bow could hit the mark of such an agony. That is why you see me now prepared. With this young olive branch and wreath of flowers, I shall approach the navel of the earth, the shrine, Apollo's sacred place, and the bright blaze of fire that we are told is everlasting. Then I will escape this stain of kindred blood. Philoxias instructed me that I should turn to no other heart than his. And now I bid all Argives in the time to come, remember how these evil things were done, and testify for me to Menelaus if he should return. I am an exile, a wanderer banished from my native land. Living or dead, I leave behind me nothing else but this appeal to you.
No, do not let your mouth speak unworthy words. Do not let evil touch your lips. You liberated this whole city-state of Argos when you cut with ease the heads of those two snakes.
These evil women, gorgons robed in black and intertwined with myriads of snakes. I can no longer stay.
What are these visions spinning you around, Orestes? Be strong. Do not give way to fear. You've won so much.
These are no fantasies of evil. I can see they are the enraged, hunting furies of my mother.
The blood is fresh still on your hands. That's why your senses are confused.
You do not see these creatures. I see them. They drive me from this place. I cannot stay.
There is one cure. If Loxias can touch you with his hands, he will release you from these sufferings.
Oh, Lord Apollo! There are more and more of them, and blood is dripping from their eyes.
May you find good fortune. May the gods look kindly on you, protect you, and grant you happiness.
This is the third storm to vent its rage in the royal house. First was the pitiable torment of the eating of children.
Then the death of the king, when Agamemnon, leader of the Greeks